The fuel tank in my BMW e34 Touring has a leak at the halfway mark, so let's fix that with this used tank that I bought off of Facebook Marketplace. This one sat outside for a few years and it has some surface rust, so I'm going to clean it up and paint it with some rust converter just to protect it so it won't rust in the future. Here's a look at my old tank. It looks terrible and it performs terribly. I tried fixing it with some JB tank weld and lo and behold, it still leaks. So definitely not worth keeping in my car. I'm going to scuff the surface rust so I can apply rust converter over it and it'll stick. I'm a fan of this hammered Rust-Oleum paint because, in my opinion, it sort of emulates a factory finish. Although, of course, protection from rust is the biggest thing I want here, because this is going under the car anyways. It doesn't need to look particularly good. Today, I'm changing the gas tank on my BMW e34 wagon in my driveway. I've dropped the tank once before to try and repair it. Today I'm going to try and actually replace it. So, see how it goes. Alright, I jacked up the car. What I did is I jacked it up from the diff like that. And then, jack stands over there. Since I'm working on gravel, I put it all on pieces of plywood. And yeah. The reason I jacked it from the diff and not from the jacking points is the jacking points are very narrow and they don't leave much room for jack stands. So by doing it like this, I'm able to put the jack stands under there while lifting it. And yeah, it seems to work well enough. I removed this access cover here in the tire well area. Now I'm trying to get these ear clamps off without damaging those hoses. Alright, I finally broke one of these hose clamps loose. They're pretty challenging to break loose, but I mean, once it was going, it was going, When doing this job, you should really just buy new hoses and hose clamps. Reusing them is unsafe and it's just a waste of time. So I do not recommend doing this, but I didn't want to wait on the parts to be delivered, so temporarily I'm reusing these hoses because I want to have this car working. First hose clamp off. The hose is pretty intact. I'm happy. Now for the next one. Just as with any disassembly, make sure you keep track of which hose goes where. That way when you put it back together, you know how to do so. This process is fairly straightforward if you ask me. I got rid of those hoses and disconnected the electrical connector. Now I just remove this, and then I take out the wheel inner cover thing. I need to take off those expansion hose clamps and disconnect it, and then I should be all good to drop the gas tank. The manual says to remove this hose at the expansion tank, but I followed it here. It's this one, or wait, no, it's this one, and it goes through and connects at the fuel tank. I'm thinking I might remove it there because I want to reuse this hose, and I don't want this hose to stick to the fuel tank. The other one right here, this one I'll just remove where it says to. It doesn't even look like there's a hose clamp here, so okay. This is weird. The manual does not say to remove those two hoses, but they're clearly connected to the gas tank, so I don't know what's up with that, but I'm going to remove those I'm gonna lower it and then remove them, I think, just because they look like a pain to get to. I removed the heat shield at the back of the tank. I don't think I needed to, but after that, it's just these 2 bolts at the back that hold the straps in, and then the tank just comes out as long as all the hoses are disconnected. I feel like I'm making decent progress here. I have one more hose to disconnect, and that's what this one here, and then the tank should just come out. This is not very easy getting these hoses off. Throughout this process, to keep track of which hoses are which, I've been marking them with paint markers. Finally have the old gas tank out, guys. Well, I have everything exposed under here. I'm gonna spray some fluid film on little bits of rust, like there's a wee bit of rust up there and here. I should really, properly treat it, but for now, I'm just gonna do fluid film to protect it. The workshop manual recommends replacing all gaskets and O-rings when doing this, and I looked at the exploded parts diagram, and there's only 2 of them, and this is one of them here, and the other one's at the filler neck, I think, so I made sure to replace that. I was just going to use the fuel pump and fuel sender that came in the new tank, but that one's in kind of bad shape, so I'm going to take the one out of this old tank and put it in the new tank before I then install the new tank in the car. There's no guesswork here because I know this sender and pump work because I've been driving with it, and additionally it just looks a lot better, so I'm going to put that in the new tank now. The fuel pump clips into this plastic housing with these 2 clips on each side, so it's fairly easy to remove. I should have thought about this because while I have this thing out, I could have got a new sock for this thing, but I think it'll be fine. I can replace it pretty easily later. I put the original fuel pump and sender in there, and I'm going to take this old one out of the new tank. I'm happy I removed this one because it's a completely different style pump, and this plastic housing thing is really messed up. I also found this mystery O-ring in there. Who knows what that's for? Let's hope I don't need it. I'm thinking maybe it's here. I don't really know, but I took it out, and this broken clip I believe is from this. So it's a good thing I decided to switch these out. Be very delicate. This happened earlier. These do not need to be very tight, I don't think, and it's very easy to snap the studs. I think it's only 23 foot-pounds of torque or something like that, so watch out for that. First step of reassembly. Hell yeah. With the tank out, I took the opportunity to replace the fuel filter. When I shoddily repaired the gas tank before, I took the rear bumper off, and that adds a lot of access, so it's kind of worth doing, but I thought I would save time, and it just made putting these bolts in a real pain. Alright, the gas tank is all in. I'm underneath right now. I have a couple things I need to tweak later, which is the fuel filler neck doesn't line up perfectly, and actually that's the only thing I need to tweak. Oh wait, no, also I used worm clamps because I didn't have Oetiker clamps, so I'm gonna have to go back and change those to the proper clamps. But right now I have one exhaust hanger that came with my $500 BMW. Both of my exhaust hangers are cooked, so I figured while the car's in the air, I'm gonna fix that. Alright, that's fixed. That's good. I think the tank is all connected. I'm gonna drop it down, put a little bit of gas in, and hope it starts and all goes well.
Yeah.
It might just be because there's so little gas in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no gas in the pipes. There it is. There we go. Woo! Oh my god, it smells.
I inspected everything for leaks after finishing the job, and this is the only part I found. I just tightened the clamp and that stopped the leak, but I should really replace the clamp and the hose, and I'm going to do that later. I'm very pleased to have my car working again. Overall, this was quite easy and a one-man job. I think you could do it in an afternoon, but the only thing is I had my friend help me put the tank back in place so I could then put the straps in, but it's pretty easy. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.